Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to High School Star League Spring Semester. I'm Achilles. With me is By Night, and we're about to get right into the action of this game of Methacton High School versus Ola High School. By Night, how are you doing tonight?
I am doing very good, Achilles. Thank you so much for asking. Man, it is time for some high school Star League. I'm excited. Should be fun.
It's the best time of any
Today's
night.
match is going to be between Methacton High on the blue side and Ola High School on the red side. We're ready for some League of Legends action.
Yeah, unfortunately, we are playing with some replays this evening, so we do not get to see the pick and ban phase. Not quite sure what these guys decided to go for in that regard, but as we can see, we are on the Rift, and we might have Black Reaper in a bad spot as he walks into Wild Will. Gonna get spotted out by that Fizz, but not in too much danger. Gonna fire, actually, getting a nice boomerang off, putting a decent bit of damage in on that Fizz, but he's gonna go ahead and be able to walk right out, no problem.
Yeah, just a few auto attacks back and forth. Nothing too serious in that regard. And it looks like just a pretty safe level 1 from both sides. But because we were unable to watch the pick and ban phase, let's go over some of these picks really fast. Talk about the team composition a little bit so that we can understand like where this game is going to be going and what strategies these teams seem to have going into this game. So if we look on the side of Methacton High, they have a very, very good team fight composition, especially with the Jarvan and Gnar combo. Jarvan puts down his ultimate, Gnar ults the entire team full high into that wall that Jarvan creates, and they just have a very, very solid team with the Graves there to back it up with that AoE damage, that ultimate coming through. I definitely think they have the advantage as far as team fight goes. Now, on the side of Ola High, they have more of a pick-type composition with that Fizz, with that Rengar, with the speed boost that comes from Sivir. So it's going to be two different type of strategies coming out from both of these teams. And this game, I think, is really going to be determined a lot, not only on laning phase, but whether or not Ola High is able to get the picks, or if they're forced into these team fights, which they will most likely lose.
Yeah, gonna have to play very carefully if we get into those team fights. Like you said, they do have the Sona combined with a knockup from Wukong. As you can see, though, some aggression down in the bot lane. Meanwhile, Sona being taken excruciatingly low. Graves firing out, and First Blood actually gonna go ahead and be secured by Thresh with that Flay-enhanced auto attack. First Blood going over to Methacton High.
Yeah, and that was really good of Shingham Alpha to continue auto-attacking on that. There's so many support players, just they try to give the kill to the AD carry, and because of that, they end up losing a lot of kills. So as a support, it's so good to continue auto-attacking. Now, if the kill is 100% secured by the AD carry, then yeah, you want to try to let them get it, but it is better for the support to get the kill than to let the kill go away.
Absolutely. As you can see, nice other grab comes in onto Sivir. Fan W just getting a nice buckshot straight to the face.
Wukong looks like he might be heading down, and there are no wards in that bot lane from Methacton High. So Wukong might be able to get off a gank there, but no, it looks like he's just going to be going back into his jungle.
Yeah, just opting to get that Scuttle Crab, pick up a little bit of extra gold, get that speed boost for his team, and go right back to his Gromp, clear that out. Likely we'll be seeing him back soon. He is a little bit low on HP, but meanwhile in the top lane, Black Reaper is getting aggressed on, but he's firing back with a little bit of damage. Meanwhile, in bot, Fan W just looks like we have a little bit of a disconnect coming out from him. Sitting still, taking some harass, but now Kanayaru in the mid lane and Wild Will going back and forth. The Ignite comes out from the Fizz. Not going to be able to find the kill, however. Kanayaru able to go ahead and walk on out, holding on to both of his summoners.
I'm surprised that there's not a pause coming out from Methacton High. This is... In the High School Star League, you are allowed to pause for things like disconnects, but Black Reaper falling very low in the top lane.
Yeah, very nice double bounce away will save his life. As we can see, we do have Fan W reconnecting. Kanayaru trying to go aggressive back against Wild Will. Gets that spear in the prowl, but not able to get in range. The Troll Pole taking him to safety. But some missed CS opportunities now in the bot lane. Sir Dropkicka able to kind of bring himself back up even with his Graves opposition. Now 17 to 18. We'll have to see if he's able to expound on that, you know, little bit of time that he had without an ADC against him. So you can see Spear connects in the mid lane. Kaniaro maybe trying to go aggressive, but flash away. We'll keep Wild Will alive for now.
Yeah, that was a really good spear. Sadly, Nidalee jumps a little bit early, and because of that, does not get the extra long jump from her passive there. Wukong coming in from the side, though.
Yeah, gets hit with a spear. He's going to go ahead and force the decoy. Go back underneath the sanctity of his tower. Can't really fight her, you know, face to face when she has that prowl going on with the marked target. So, smartly retreating. But as we can see, already a significant gold lead coming in. 600, or 1.6k rather, in favor of Methacton. Just barely 6 minutes into this game.
In the mid lane, 32 CS on Kanairo's Nidalee to the 13 CS on Wild Will's Fizz. That is a very, very massive gold lead there.
Yeah, absolutely. And these guys are just skirmishing back and forth all over the map at this point. These guys are out for blood. Methacton especially. They have first blood, but they want second and thirds, it would seem. Koniaro spotting out GTX Highlander. Gonna go ahead and hit a nice spear. That's gonna deter him. He goes in. Forces the flash out from the Wukong. Very nice play coming in from Koniaro in the mid lane.
Yes, so much pressure coming down from Koniaro, forcing the Wukong to just continue returning mid, and Wukong's just not able to do anything because level 4 to a level 6 Nidalee, and it feels like Koniaro is hitting every single spear onto GT Highlander right now, and it's just causing Wukong to start falling behind as well because he's going mid so many times, and every single time you decide to gank a lane, you're taking away from time that you're allowed to farm in the jungle. So the more failed ganks that you have, the further behind you're going to start falling from the other jungler, and we just see a few CS lead coming out from Jarvan. But overall, a very, very dominating early lane performance from Methacton High over Ola High, and they really need to try to make a play. Ola does, if they want to stay in this game, because as I pointed out at the beginning, Methacton just has a very strong teamfight composition, and if they have the teamfight comp and they're ahead in gold, it's just not going to look good for Ola High.
Yeah, not at all. And as we can see down in the bot lane, FanW's Buckshot is starting to really do damage. He is up an entire pickaxe currently over Sir Dropkick as Sivir. And he is just absolutely ripping through the squishy support that is Sona. Meanwhile, Fish comes out onto Koniaro in the mid lane. Ignite down as well. Can Wild Will find the kill? Doesn't look like it. Now Jarvan in the mid lane. Toby Hat here to back up his teammate. He's playing the bush. Nice spear connect. Will take Wild Will down low, but
A lot of damage.
yeah, and doesn't look like they're going to be able to find a kill for now. Here comes Highlander trying to get in with the stealth. Troll pull out, but they don't know that Toby Hat's still here in the mid lane. He doesn't have 6, so he cannot get the Cataclysm down. But however, Fizz with the... oh, wow. He tries to Urchin Strike through the minion to get away from J4. Dashes straight into the spear, and that picks up the second kill of the game for Koniaro. Now Highlander in a bad spot. Flag and Drag comes out. He does get knocked up. He has barely any mana. Tries to dash into Koniaro, but he's gonna get taken down. That's an unofficial double kill coming in for Koniaro in the mid lane. Now 2-0 on Nidalee.
It feels like Ola High is trying to catch every single spear there. That spear that killed Wild Will was 100% going to be a missed spear, was going to 100% be a missed spear, and Wild Will just jumped right into his death there. And man, this Nidalee is going to be so scary. If you look at the gold difference between the Fizz and the Nidalee, 3,000 gold on Nidalee, only 1.7 on Wild Will. Almost double the gold now in this mid lane in favor of Methacton High. Oh man, that's gonna be hard to overcome.
Oh, and a grab comes in onto Sona in the bot lane. Looks like they have plenty of damage to finish her off. Now the exhaust comes out and a Sir Dropkick of FanW a little bit too low. Gonna go ahead back off. Lax with the one kill that he does pick up. Meanwhile, in top lane, Black Reaper just throwing out those auto attacks, ripping through Rengar, who is now ulting. Double hop comes in, trying to get away from GTX Highlander, who does not yet have his ultimate. He may want to re-aggress here. Has the Mega Gnar, gets the stun, doesn't go into the wall, but the Flag and Drag comes in, knocks up Rengar. He's being taken very low. Cataclysm down. Flashes out. Red buff not going to be enough to finish him off. Can he get the Dragon Strike? Yes, with a flash forward. He does get that. And now maybe GTX in a bad spot. getting back underneath the turret. Looks like he will find Sanctuary for now. Actually trying to go aggressive on the Black Reaper, but here comes Tobyhead yet again. Dragon Strike comes out, and that's going to be the finish off. Black Reaper finding himself a kill on Gnar in the top lane.
Yeah, Ola High coming behind in every single one of these fights here, and it feels like they just don't quite have a grasp on how much damage they do compared to what Methacton can do, and because of it, they're just making so many ill-advised decisions, going back in when there's nothing they can get out of it except their own death, and because of that, Methacton High just getting further and further ahead now. The first tower going down in the mid lane, and things are just looking worse and worse for Ola High. I'm expecting Jarvan to probably make a play for this dragon relatively soon, and I really don't see how Ola High can even try and contest it when Jarvan finally decides to go for that.
Yeah, even with a massive outnumber, it'd be very challenging for Ola to get in here, like you said, around the Dragon Pit to try to contest that. GTX Highlander does have his ultimate now, so that could certainly help them out if they get into a bit of a skirmish, but still going to have to play very careful if they... Wow, I can't speak. Very carefully if they want anything to do with this game. As we can see, though, Wild Will does not land Chum the Waters. Here comes GTX. He doesn't get the knockup flashes for it. However, Konoyaru maybe now in a bad spot. Looks like they have just enough damage to finish him up. But here comes Fan W, and he is just ripping through. GTX goes through, doesn't find the kill on the Konoyaru, and they are actually going to find 2 kills onto the side of Ola, and that is going to be a fantastic trade back. Konoyaru barely walking away with his life.
Yeah, it's at this point in solo queue when you kind of just start to give up. I don't think Ola High is going to give up here, though, but I just don't see what they can do to try to come back here, because now they're just so far behind. Now, you have to keep in mind that these teams are playing for not only $20,000 in possible scholarship money. Actually, it looks like Sona
getting grabbed out. Crescendo comes across. FamW gets caught up by that one, but they just get out of it, and they're able to rip right through her. FanW now 3-0 and 2, has that BF sword and the pickaxe. As we can see, he's sitting on 1.3k, almost 1.4k gold. He's going to go ahead back and be able to pick himself up an IE, which is just going to expound on the damage that he already has against this bot lane duo of Ola. As you can see, Dolan's recall getting delayed out here by the boomerang. Wukong's coming around the side. Not sure if they're going to be able to find anything. Dolan is very low in that top lane. Let's go ahead and take a look. Wukong comes in from the side. Dolan has his full stacks up. Can he find a root? Actually, here comes the flash in from Black Reaper. Finds himself the kill. He's going to transform into Mega Gnar. Gets the stun off on the GTX, who's going to have to decoy out here. Boulder lands. He's running the opposite way, but not going to be able to find it. And that's going to be a solo double kill coming out for Gnar in the top lane. Now grab onto Sona in the bot lane. Buckshot is just ripping right through. Fan W finds himself his 4th kill of the game. And Wild Will running the opposite direction here. Chum the Waters comes out. He dashes through. Can he find the damage? Trollpole comes out. It is just barely scratching the surface of Konoyaru's HP bars. As we can see, he's getting chunked down by auto attack. Spear not going to land. Flag and Drag comes out. Cataclysm will finish him out. Toby Hat going to go ahead and pick up a kill of his own.
At this point, there's really nothing Ola High can do. When you get to that situation where the top laner can 2v1 your own top laner and your jungler, and your mid laner's behind, your bot lane is behind, almost every single decision you make is going to be a bad one. Because even if you're outnumbering, even if you're trying to get catches 2v1, 3v1, you're so far behind that you're still going to lose the fight.
Yeah, and as we can see, Konoyaru is just absolutely ripping through the ranks of Ola. GTX falling yet again, now 0-5-0 on that Wukong. And Black Reaper is meanwhile just wreaking havoc in the top lane, while the split goes down in the bot lane as they get onto this tier 2 tower. Just not looking good or possible for Ola High School, as you said. Konoyaru just an absolute force on this Nidalee. It's just been decimating their ranks.
I'm expecting to see a 20-minute game, something around there. Maybe 21 minutes at most. Because this game is just an absolute stomp. If you're Methacton High right now, you pretty much should just group as 5 and push down middle. because you could end this game in the next 2-3 minutes because there's nothing Ola can do to defend. Nidalee has so much poke potential right now. Even Graves can poke with his ultimate. He could probably half health Sona with just his ultimate, and they could easily siege down towers.
Yeah, not too much. Wow, that spear coming out. Wild Will being taken down to half HP. Koniyaru coming around the side, just going to go ahead and play the poke game. Try to get FanW in on this turret so they could take that down. Only 2 tier 2s remaining now for Ola. If they can secure
I feel like
this,
Nidalee
it's
should
305.
grab that blue buff because she is absolutely out of mana and there's just a free blue sitting there. She could have easily grabbed that and she could be throwing out like 10% more spears with that cooldown reduction.
Yeah, it looks like they are opting to go ahead. Well, they tried to get it. Not quite happening, but Wild Will tries to aggress, but he is just way too low. FanW with the auto attack back. Will find himself a kill. Nice crescendo comes across from the Sona. Now Wukong joining the ranks, but Sir Dropkick forced to back out of here. Actually, now Yaru's getting knocked up. Can they find the kill? Red buff slow is out. Fires back with a spear. Might want to go into his Cougar form, but not going to be able to get back in onto Highlander and find a kill there. He's playing a little bit forward. Actually, all of Methacton in the bot lane playing a little bit forward considering their HP. But meanwhile, in the top lane, as we can see, Black Reaper finding himself yet another kill onto Dolan. And that could lead to that tier 2 top tower. Already, Guardian Angel and Yumu's Ghostblade coming out on that Gnar, who is 103 CS above his lane opponent.
That's a ridiculous amount of CS there. In the mid lane, though, you see the exact same type of CS lead. 117 to 34. Bottom lane, not quite as big, but when you say not quite as big in this game, in any other game, it would be so massive. 132 CS to 83. 31.7 thousand gold to 17k in favor of Methacton High. 4 towers to 0, 16 kills to 0. This is probably one of the stompiest games that I've ever seen, and I've seen some really one-sided games.
Yeah, it's just looking more grim and grim as we just get closer to the 20-minute mark. Almost certainly going to be seeing Ola opt to resign from this match, but let's look forward unless we get some action. Actually, as Shinigami comes in, doesn't get the hook, but it might not matter. The spear comes across as well as a buckshot. That's going to be another kill for Koniyaru, and Black Reaper just ripping through Dolan, who has the ultimate up, but he auto attacks out of it, tries to get back in for some damage onto Black Reaper, but Gnar comes out and he will live. Guardian Angel as well. He was in a pretty safe spot, and now the siege is up on the mid inhibitor turret. It is just being absolutely ripped through spears, keeping people at bay. For now, here comes Chum the Water, only landing on the Thresh, however, not quite the target you want. Wild Will getting chunked down immediately. There goes Wukong as well. The turret is down, top tier 2 turret falling at the same time. Double kill for Koniyaru, and this is going to be the first inhibitor, possibly even the last inhibitor. They might be able to just go straight onto the Nexus at this point.
Yeah, the game is so early that the timers are only like 10, 15, 20 seconds, so there's not a lot of time, but they could honestly probably just kill Ola High again without even having to back. It looks like they are going to opt to go for the second inhibitor here, which is the safer play instead of just going straight for the end. They're easily going to be able to grab up the second inhibitor here.
Yeah, just getting right in onto that damage, ripping through that IE. Near last Whisper Fan W build is just all types of damage for Graves, who's one of the most bursty ADCs that there is. As we can see, they are now turning their eyes onto these Nexus turrets, which one of them already being chunked down a decent bit. No minion wave, however. They might want to back out. Let's see if they decide to play greedy and stick around.
I feel like they're most likely just going to stay and just try to end this right now. However, Jarvan did back, so they now are undermanned 4v5. But I feel like even 4v5 in the opponent's space, they still win the fight relatively easily, especially if Gnar hits Nega Gnar form. Now, they don't want to try and fight under the towers, but even so, they're doing a decent job just starting to damage down these towers. As soon as Jarvan gets back, I think this game's going to end.
I tend to agree with you. As you can see, FanW is also backing as well. But actually, no. Gonna go ahead and cancel that one. Says, you know what? I don't need that last Whisper to finish this game. They don't have hardly any armor whatsoever. One Sunflower Cape and a
They
chain
don't have
vest.
hardly anything at all.
Yeah, he is just ripping through people like butter. So you can see, nice Wukong ultimate coming in. Chum the Waters lands on a Koniaru. They find the shutdown kill. That's going to be 20-1, but FanW firing back finds himself a double kill, but he will fall to the wayside as well. Cataclysm comes down. Not quite able to get anyone. But now Dolan in a bad spot, trying to get out as best he possibly can. W healing himself up a decent bit. Looks like he may be able to retreat to safety. But here comes the super creeps in the mid lane and the top lane. And these are going to start ripping through the turrets as Toby Hat and Shinigami stick around. Looks like we have the first turret falling. Second one at about half HP. These guys are all spawning in mere seconds. They're going to have to take this and run for the hills. Or no, they're going to turn and try to get some damage in on the Nexus. GTX Highlander goes in to Toby Hat, who is so excruciatingly low. Flag and drag away. Not going to be able to find it, though. The dot from Fizz will take him down. Shinigami boxes and flashes. Flays away the Wukong dash. But Wild Will's going to have a heck of a lot of chase. Randuin's not able to find him, but he does pull off. So Ola alive for the minute here. They find themselves 3 kills. But they're still down by nearly 20,000 gold as pings are coming out for Baron from the side of Methacton.
If you're Ola High right now, your mind is already kind of thinking about the next game. What do we need to do next game not to get crushed as hard as we did this game? I mean, there's really no chance for them to do anything in order to win this one. So they have to start considering, are we going to ban Nidalee next game? Maybe we want to pick that up for ourselves. Do we need to possibly ban out or pick that Gnar J4 combo?
Oh, wow, yep, there we go. Koniaru, as you said, maybe banning out the Nidalee. I think it's going to be a must, as he has had quite a crushing performance. The Gnar as well, with Black Reaper as they turn their eyes onto the Nexus. I think that it'll be safe to say that we will not see these champions for Methacton going into the second game. They're just letting the minions really work down this Nexus. Koniaru is going to have a little bit of fun. Does fall yet again in the end with a 7-2-7 final record coming in. But wow, what an absolutely devastating performance by Methacton over Ola in that matchup.
Yeah, that's that was a one-sided game if I've ever seen one. I'm really hoping Ola High can put up a better fight in game number 2, just because, and games like that there's just nothing to spectate. I mean, there's no excitement, no back and forth. It was just complete destruction and complete control by Methacton High from the very beginning. Laning phase, every single lane going towards Methacton High. Their jungler won as well. And then they had the stronger team fight team, and it just never was even close for Ola High in any of the fights.
Yeah, really devastating. But we'll have to see what Ola is able to do coming into game number 2. Maybe they'll be able to fire back against Methacton, who, as we said, had such a dominating performance. So we're going to go to a quick break before we come back into the next game, and we'll have to see what happens in this series. Before we go, quick shout out to our sponsors, though. Of course, Twitch TV is our biggest and favorite sponsor. They're the largest video game broadcasting and chat community on the internet. Newegg, the leading online retailer for computer hardware and software. Roccat, producing innovative, high-quality products for today's ambitious gamer. MSI, devoted to building high-performance products used by gamers around the world. Jinx Apparel, creating awesome video game-themed clothing and other products and accessories. And, of course, Loot Crate, which connects subscribers with the best new goodies for the geek and gaming market. I'm Achilleos. With me is By Night, and we'll be right back in a few scant minutes. Don't go anywhere.